Anyway, so there we go. All right, gives you court name and everything like that. As you see here, there's a couple counts and a couple codes. Offense description: A and B on police officer, 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 and resisting arrest. So by what we're reading here, ladies and gentlemen, that's 4 counts of assault and battery on a police officer. Correct me if I'm wrong here, chat. On 1/31 of 2026. Okay. We got some signatures here. Attorney has been appointed. 2/2/26. Date and judge. Counsel. See, the fee was waived. Arraigned and advised potential of bail revocation. You got some little quotation marks over here. Now, here's another good one. You guys, a lot of you guys are out there like, well, Ernie's been pulled out of the fine link. The fine link says this. Well, the reason the fine link says what it does is because when you're pulled out of certain things and taken to court, it'll actually say, you've been pulled out of this jurisdiction to go somewhere else. It doesn't tell you where else. It just says you've been pulled out, basically. Okay. So just because the fine link's saying this, you guys have to stop running with that's what it means, because in the end, it ultimately makes you look silly. Okay. So just wait for the facts, like I've been saying. And once you figure the facts out, you can start putting things together. You can do your own speculations and your own little shit. Do whatever you want, but just wait for the fucking facts so you can read them yourself. Like I said, if I'm wrong on something, feel free to correct me. Come send me an email, come in chat, say, no, you didn't read that right, ghost, you're a big idiot, blah, 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 blah. And there's no mention of any cash giveaways. There are a mention of some other giveaways, but I don't think the officers wanted those type of giveaways. We'll get into it. So if you look here, you'll see the 2-2 arraignment. He was held. I'm not sure what that even says. There's his judge name, Hernan or something like that. Not really important as far as what we're going to be getting into. And you also notice number 2 here. Now that's tomorrow's date, 2/3/26, event 15A. So probably more than likely what's going to happen is Ernie may not go back into fine link. Considering he's had a court date today, he's going to go back, more than likely, he's going to go back into the jail. He won't go back into the medical jail that he's being held at. He'll go back into the jail. He may not be put back into fine link, considering he's going to get ripped right back out tomorrow morning for what we're about to discuss, okay? So let's go ahead, scroll down here. There's some messy as fuck handwriting, and if y'all expect me to read this, I'll do my best, but I'm already illiterate, so let's give it a shot. 15A, evaluation for contemporary competency. Is that a real word? Competency? Competency and responsibility. That's a rough one. On this date, that's obviously the judge's signature there. Here on to, wait, what do you say? Oh yeah, here on to be held pending 15A, that's evaluation. Yeah, evaluation on 2/3/26. And there you got two names there, obviously. So basically what that's saying is he's going to have a psych eval, more or less, to see if Ernie is capable of standing trial, basically. And if I'm not saying that correctly, please correct me. Like I said, Dodie said I'm right, and Dodie's always right. So if Dodie said I'm right, I'm right. So obviously you're going to see, you might see on the Vine link, Ernie go back into the system and then again get ripped right back out tomorrow. So like I said, everybody, just because you see him get pulled out of something stupid like Vine link, don't go starting crazy ass false narratives that Ernie's gotten out of jail or he's running free right now. That's no, do not do that. That makes you look silly in the long run. So shout out to everybody that didn't do that. Yeah, Wasteland, Flies, Wasteland, SDA, of course. My normal clip channels, you guys know you're more than welcome to clip whatever you need out of this. If you guys need something specifically, please feel free to email me and I'll work on getting you just that specific information to you. Just give me time. I understand if you want to get it out, as quick as you can, but, please feel free to, you guys feel free to clip what you need to clip. It's all good. Everybody out there that's been documenting and recording Ernie, obviously DJ and all them, you guys are more than welcome to use what you need to use. All right, so assault and battery on police officer, Ernest Shale, not Ernest. Dude, that typo kills me every time, and I understand why people do it. It's such an easy typo to make, but the Ernest thing. So I'm recording earlier's video, and right in the middle of recording while I'm reading the paragraph, so I'm sitting there literally reading. All right, assault and battery on police officer. You don't have anything checked here. There's nothing really here. You're not seeing much, right? You guys don't see any check marks either, right? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and scroll down. Not looking a lot. Number 2, you got another assault and battery on a police officer, and you're wondering like, what the fuck? There's 2. All right, so now we got 3 assault and battery on a police officer. Wait, where's the 4th? Where's the 4th? Well, we skipped 4 apparently for some strange reason and went straight to 5. So 4 assault and battery on a police officer, right? And then you have technically a 5th would be a resisting arrest, okay? And then another one of tagging property. And you're like, what the fuck was Ernie out? Like, did Ernie have like a can of spray paint in jail or something like that? Like, what the hell? What's he doing? What's he tagging? And then here's another kicker, which once again, this raises more questions until we get on just a little further down the page. Destruction of property, 1,200 plus maliciously or malicious. Then you have another destruction of property, 1,200 plus malicious. Okay, so now we've got these destruction of property charges, right? Both of them over $1,200, and they both say malicious, so obviously Ernie knew what he was doing when he did it. That's what that should tell you, because they were done maliciously. Those are two felonies in mass. Yes, 2 different felonies. 2. Count it. All right, so then we obviously have the assault and battery on a police officer. Those different charges. Scroll on here. Great, my earbuds dying. That's awesome. So we'll get through this a little faster so I can switch earbuds here. Here you've just got some more of just the criminal complaint document. Number of counts. There's 8 total counts. Yeah, so there's 8 total counts. They just skipped 4 on that one. Here's the actual counts. And here, okay, so all right, so let me change my earbud out here because go into a little bit of detail. Quit laughing, bitches. It's not funny. We're going to go into a little bit of detail on what actually happened after Ernie got arrested. The undersigned complaint on behalf of the Commonwealth and oath complaints that on the date indicated below, the defendant committed the offense or offenses listed below on any attached pages. Let's see. Let me do it like this. Just to tease the fuck out of you guys a little bit more. Let's just show you the first one. So count 1, code blah, 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 blah. Description, assault and battery on a police officer on 1/31/2026. Did assault and beat Officer N-word, Shepard, Officer L-word, Harris, and Officer S-word. A police officer who was then engaged in the performance of his or her duties in violation of GL in the code. Penalty, House of Correction, not less than 90 days, more than 2.5 years, or not less than $500, more than $5,000, blah, 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 blah. Then you have number 2 over here, count number 2 on 131/2026, did assault and beat officer N-word, Shepard, L-word, Harris, and S-word, a police officer who was engaged in performance and duties and blah, 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 blah. Penalty 3, House of Correction, or sorry, penalty 3 on 131 did, and it's the same thing. So this is the same charge, right? Same charge. Okay, we can officially say that it's not, don't laugh at me, Lulu, it's not funny. We can officially say, you got to say these words, you can't say them. We can officially say that all 3 of these are the same, right? So let's go, and like I said, 4's not there, don't ask me why. But we can say on 131, the discount here, technically 4th, but it's on the 5th. On 131/2026, did assault officer N-word, Shepard, officer L-word, Harris, and officer S-word, a police officer who was engaged in the performance of their duties, blah, 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 blah. Let's go ahead and go to penalty 6, shall we? On 131/2026, did knowingly prevent or attempt to prevent a police officer as defined in blah, 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 who was acting under color of his or her official authority from effecting an arrest by 1, using or threatening to use physical force or violence against a police officer or another, or 2, using some other means which created a substantial risk of causing bodily injury to such officer or another. Keep that in mind as we're going through this and reading this, chat. Keep that in mind, okay? Penalty jail, House of Correction, we're not 2.5 years, blah, 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 blah. You got some signatures here. Count number 7 on 131/2026. Here we go. Spray or apply paint or place a sticker upon a building, wall, fence, or sign, tablet, gravestone, monument, or other object or thing in a public way or adjoined to it or in public view or on private property. Such persons known, commonly known as taggers, and such conduct of activity known or commonly known as tagging, or other words or phrases associated to such persons conduct or activity, and either as an individual or in a group did join together with such group with the intent to deface, mar, damage, mark, or destroy such property in violation to. There's another code that we're not going to discuss. And the penalty, House of Correction, not more than 2 years, less than $1,500, blah, 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 blah. On 131, did willingly and maliciously destroy or injure the personal property, dwelling, housing, or building of town of Medway. The value of property so destroyed or injured exceeded $1,200 in violation with another code. Penalty, state prison not more than 10 years, or jail not more than 2.5 years, and fine the greater $3,000, or 3 times the value of the property so destroyed or injured, which we've already seen was exceeding $1,200. We all know Ernie ain't even got $2 right now. So there's that. Number 9, on 131, did willingly and maliciously destroy and injure the personal property, dwelling, house, or building of town of Medley, the value of the property so destroyed or injured exceeding $1,200. The exact same thing we just read. State prison not more than 10 years, or jail not more than 2.5 years. So there's the other charges. Let's keep scrolling here. After considering the report of recommendation of probation officer and the other employee, after questioning the defendant named above as appropriate based on the standards and supreme. Did my phone just go off? It's not seeing that. I just not feel my phone vibrate. I find that the defendant is, and next to it is checked right here, indigent. Is that how you say that? Sure. But able to contribute and is therefore ordered to pay nothing, of course, because Ernie's a broke bitch. That's what that's saying. Ernie, you're a broke bitch, so they're not going to make you pay for anything, but they are going to make your happy asset in jail for a while. So you guys has and signs it. This is the Docket. Criminal docket in A, criminal docket, Wilmington District Court in the matter of Commonwealth versus Ernest Shell, date of birth, social petitioner, title, forensic psychologist, Medway Police Department. The above named person has been arrested and detained prior to their arraignment and appearance in court pursuant to the protocol on emergency psychiatric hospitalization. There's a request that the person be hospitalized because of mental illness at a Department of Mental Health public facility or at Bridgewater State Hospital before their arraignment or court appearance. The protocol cannot be used unless a magistrate or assistant clerk magistrate has made a probable cause determination and the detainee has not been released on bail. The following information has been provided to the on-call judge for review. The current charges on which the detainee is being held, the detainee's current condition, the detainee's board of probation record and warrant management system information, including any outstanding defaults or warrants for the detainee. Any other pertinent information. A physician or psychologist qualified by the DMH to perform psychiatric examinations has examined the person, and a qualified examiner has, checkmarked here, reported the results of that examination to the on-call judge by providing a physical or electronic copy of report or communicating the contents of or reading or summarizing the report over the telephone, and including in the report the qualified examiner's opinion and supporting reasons that emergency psychiatric hospitalization is required. You know, the checkmark there is required. The petition is allowed. The petition have been allowed pursuant these court orders to above named detainee to be taken by the Medway Police to the following facility of DMH, or checkmark if mail to Bridgewater State Hospital. So because Ernie was a dude, that's why he technically went to Bridgewater. Just to be realistic, there's no guarantee that puts him away. That's right. There's still, I mean, he could still get out of all this wildly. Like at the end of the day, like he still has, like he can still get out all of this. Orders that the petitioner, blah, blah, blah. On 2/2/2026, officers of the police department which made the arrest shall appear at such public facility of the Department of Mental Health or Bridgewater State Hospital at 8:30 a.m. At such time, the superintendent of the public facility or the Bridgewater State Hospital shall return custody of the detainee to officers of that police department. No evaluation report shall be required of the facility receiving the detainee pursuant to this order. Upon custody transfer to the police department, the court ordered under blah, 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 shall terminate. The detainee shall then be transported to court by the police. Release at any time of the detainee from the public facility of Bridgewater State Hospital shall be made only to the custody of the police. Only to the custody of the police, okay? So Ernie's not just going to, I'm getting out of here. It's not happening. His position was acted upon a judge name below. There's a judge name, blah, 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 blah. Honorable Janet. Hello, Honorable Janet. Some signatures there. Date complaint issue 2/2/26. Next event 2/3/2026, 8:30 a.m. Mental health hearing, criminal case. So tomorrow morning, they will be basically evaluating if Ernie's a fucking psychopath or not. All right, maybe not a psychopath, but they're going to see. Defendant must appear on the above date and time. Obviously, he'll be there. He's in custody. So here we're starting to call into the charges more. Bail set by court. Yeah, so 4 counts of assault and battery on a police officer, resisting arrest. 5. Well, that says 5, but I only see 4 there. You know, I don't know why. Like it's like they fucked up 4, so they're like, fuck it, we're just gonna skip 4. We don't need 4. Just like, oh, was it? I don't know. I'm not going back. You guys can go back and look at it. Oh, okay. Okay, so we're gonna keep scrolling down here. Page 1 of 4. I understand complaint requests that a criminal complaint issue against the accused charging the offense listed below. If the accused has not been arrested in criminal charges, he has been arrested, so we don't need to worry about any of that. It's just bullshit from Ernie. He's a Caucasian, short, white male. That says 5'8". I don't think that's right. I don't think he's actually 5'8". There's no way. Bruh, it still says his employer is G4S. That's weird. I think if you wreck one of their vans and you prove to be high out of your gourd, you're probably not a Stone employee. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. No, he's not getting off that easy, especially after what we're about to read next. So there's been some stuff that's been redacted from these that I did not do. This was redacted from them. So don't be like, Ghost, what did you do? That is not me. Offensive code, blah, 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 blah. Description, A and B on police officer, 131. Variables, and there's all the police officers that were involved. Another one, same thing, all the police officers involved. A hearing upon this complaint application will be held at the above court address. Up there. Yeah, we're not going back up. Date 2/2, blah, blah, blah. Probable cause found for above offenses. Numbers 1, 2, based on checkmark facts set forth in attached statements. Interesting. Okay, so this, I believe, is more or less the same thing because of the charges, so we really don't need to go into this again and repeat this because it's basically the same thing. As you notice, everything on this page is more or less the exact same as what we just read, so we're going to keep scrolling. Like I said, there's 38 pages. We're not even fucking halfway through them yet, guys. This is the exact same thing. This is page 3 of 4 of this, same thing we just read on page 1. There's absolutely no difference here. So let's keep scrolling so we can save a little bit of time here. Nothing's changing, except for, was those on the last ones? They wasn't, was they? No, they wasn't. So here you can start to see the tagging property, the destruction of property start to come into play. The resisting arrest comes into play. Let's see what this one is. Destruction of property. Victim was the town of Medley Police Department. So obviously Ernie fucked up the booking station that he was being booked into. More or less is what they're trying to tell you. So we're going to go ahead and keep scrolling here. Reported as a disturbance, incident type disturbance. There's the address, the reporting officer. We'll call him Sergeant Anthony. Let's call him. Yeah, that's better. Hello, Mr. Anthony. I did not see this part yet. Okay, so it looks here, assault and battery on police officer 4 different times, tagging property once, destruction of property, destruction of property again, resisting arrest once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's 5 assault and batteries on a cop, 5 resisting arrests, fugitive from justice on court warrant. Am I missing anything good in chat? You guys being good? So we get in a little bit more detail of that, monsters. That's a little bit farther down. Okay, so it gives you more detail on Ernie. He's a little short guy. He's 46. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so this is page 20. On Saturday, January 31st, I was working at 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. shift assigned to patrol. As the shift supervisor, at approximately 7:26 a.m., dispatch received multiple calls regarding a disturbance at 10 Winthrop Street. The callers, all of whom were following a Facebook Live video, which he probably was confused. He's probably not, real keen on this type of shit. Facebook Live video online posted on a channel called Unlock Your Reality. And this is Sergeant Anthony. This is Sergeant Anthony's description here. Channel called Unlock Your Reality. Called to report a male in the household was in a bathroom and had a knife. The callers also stated that the male has schizophrenia and other mental health issues. Detective Godino, Officer Clark, and I responded. Upon arrival, we approached the front door located on the front porch. I unholstered my department-issued weapon and held it at low ready, never raising it above my hip. I felt the door handle and found that the door was unlocked. I pushed the door open in order to see inside while remaining outside and calling out to any occupants. Officer Clark was behind me, and we could see one male standing to the right side of the house by a hallway and another to the left side in a sitting room. We announced our presence and asked if anyone else was in home. While speaking with both parties from the outside of the home, I could see one male. The male in the sitting room to the left side of the home was holding a phone as if recording us. He was holding his other hand up to show that nothing was in it. I saw him throw what appeared to be a small item down away from his body. I directed this male to move to another corner of the room where I approached him and conducted a pat frisk for weapons. Detective Godino entered the room with me and we secured a small black pocket knife, which had been thrown onto the chair. Officer Clark began speaking with the other male party soon after, identified as Chris Forte. Excuse me. Detective Godino and I began talking with the male, who we shortly after identified as Ernest Shell of Kentucky. Herschel Dick Rip and Shell of Kentucky. Dispatch notified us that Shell was continuing to record our interaction on a live stream platform as they were receiving numerous phone calls from people sharing information about Shell. Through conversation, we found that Shell was experiencing paranoia, delusional feeling there were people behind mirrors, hiding in a fireplace, and listening around the corner. Dispatch also notified me that Shell had an active NCIC warrant, there's the docket number and everything, with full extradition out of the state of Kentucky. I advised dispatch to call to confirm the full extraditable warrant, which we all heard. At this time, due to the warrant and the possibility of Shell may either be transported on a Section 12 or placed under arrest, I felt it was safest to place Shell into temporary custody, which we all heard. We heard all of it go down. Detective Godino and I handcuffed Shell. The handcuffs were double locked and checked for tightness. Shell was, again, pat frisks, and we waited to hear from dispatch. Shell was cooperative and compliant throughout this interaction. Excuse me. Officer Clark continued to speak with Forte while Detective Godino spoke with Shell. See her supplemental narrative on the conversation. To further information, I stepped into the kitchen and confirmed through dispatch that Kentucky acknowledged the full extradition warrant. Shell was escorted to the rear of the cruiser K4, where he was transported back to the station. Back at the station, we attempted to conduct booking and processing. We were unable to complete the booking of Shell and felt it was best and safest for all that he be secured in a cell. Shell was acting paranoid, insisting on checking behind doors and walls to ensure no one was present. Shell insisted on checking behind the photo pull-down curtain to ensure that the wall was solid. Wow. Shell felt all the walls to ensure they were solid and not another room or void in the wall. We closed all doors and booking, including the interview room, hallway to cells 1 and 2, storage closets, to show Shell that nobody else was in the room with us. Shell continuously asked, "Are you going to shoot me?" Shell asked about, stop it. Shell, stop. Shell asked about items throughout the room, like the smoke detector, microphone, and surveillance cameras in the booking room, all thinking they were some sort of weapon which would harm him. Shell repeatedly asked about our weapons and if we were going to harm him, tie him up, or become physical with him. On numerous we showed Damn it. We showed Shell that we were not holding our firearms per department policy, and that we were not interested in hurting him nor placing hands on him if he remained compliant. We were eventually able to direct Shell into a cell where he could be secured and safe. That's what you think. I had inspected the cell prior to Shell being placed within it and found it clear of any contraband or hazards. 2 prisoner blankets and 1 uncapped bottle of water were provided to Shell. Page 3 of 5. Let's continue. At this time, I initiated the Section 18 process. I contacted Riverside Emergency Services and spoke with the intake manager, who advised me that social workers would be out at approximately 10:30 a.m. At 10:30 a.m., crisis clinical... wow, that's that lady and that other lady, Laura, they arrived at the station, okay? Long story short. I advised them of Shell's condition, excuse me, and my concerns for schizophrenia, delusions, and paranoia. Clinicians? Whoa, that's a crazy word. Clinicians conducted an assessment from within booking and were unable to complete any safety risk assessment due to his non-compliance speaking with him. Medway Police Department Ryan was also on the scene and observing. Well, thank you, Ryan. Clinicians began the process moving forward of contacting the on-call mental health forensic psychologist and were unable to complete that process. Throughout the afternoon, clinician Ryan worked to obtain further information through a family member as well as additional information which had been shared with us from persons calling the station. Clinician Ryan gathered enough pertinent medical and psychological history of Shells from a family member to conduct a risk assessment and provide necessary information to the Department of Mental Health forensic psychologist Dr. Brown. Blah, 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 blah. Dr. Brown at around 2 p.m. stated that he would be on the way to conduct an assessment himself. During that time between Shell entering cell number 3 and later being removed from cell, he was observed through the department security cameras and checked with key fob regularly. Shell defecated on the floor of the cell, climbed up on the toilet, and smeared his own feces on the clear plexiglass covering all... Shell defecated. Ernie Shell shit on the floor, climbed up on the toilet, and smeared his shit on the plexiglass where the fucking cameras were. Shell urinated all over the floor and at one point attempted to flush the cell blanket in the toilet. Off the water source for cell number 3 from the cell utility closet. Shell was observed in various states of manic behavior, covering himself with a blanket, hiding it under it on the floor. Sorry, I'm so feeding and defecating on the cell floor on multiple occasions. So if you thought, oh, well, it's just Ernie's sudden shock of energy while he's pooping on the floor. No, ladies and gentlemen, he pooped and pissed on the floor multiple times. At approximately 7 p.m., Dr. Brown arrived at the station and began conducting an evaluation of Shell. Officer Elward and I escorted Dr. Brown into the booking room where he conducted his assessment through the cell door. Dr. Brown requested at this time that Shell be transported to the hospital to be medically cleared prior to being transported to the hospital. Medway Fire EMS was dispatched for a transport to the Milford Regional Hospital. See continuance of this report. Full blah, blah, blah. While inside, I spoke with Chris Forte out of blah, blah. Forte told me that he is a friend of Mark McJunkins. I began asking Forte what happened. He told me that he met the male party on Grindr, the Grindr action, a social dating app for gay men, a few days ago, and has been letting him stay at the residence. He referred to the male party as Cole, Cole, which is the name that was used in the Grindr profile. The male he is referring to is Ernest Shell. Forte told me that Shell has some paranoid tendencies. Wow, you think? But he is able to reassure him and keep him calm most of the time. So by that statement, that tells me that obviously Ernie was there quite often if old Forte knew how to take care of him, right? Knew his tendencies. What happened today with the knife, he told me that he did not know. He stated that he only knew that Shell went into the bathroom but did not know what for. He told me that they had only known each other for a few days. After we placed Shell under arrest for the warrant, Forte, basement to gather his belongings. Forte, I'm saying, he would allow Shell to keep his belongings at the house and that they would be safe here. Forte, all right, we'll call him Fort because now I feel retarded saying it. Fort obtained a jacket and pants for Shell due to the weather. We explained that Shell was under arrest for an extraditable warrant out of Kentucky and that he would be brought back to the Medway Police Department while we arrange transport with Kentucky officers. Respectfully submitted, Emily Clark. Well, thank you for your due diligence, Emily. Several out-of-state callers. Oh, there's a good one. Several out-of-state callers reporting male party in the bathroom at listed location with a knife. Parties reported male party is live streaming on YouTube and appears to be under the influence of crack cocaine. I don't know, I'm just making that part up. One male party in custody, transporting male party to station. Patient male medically cleared by hospital. Dr. Brown contacting judge on call. Blah, 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 blah. Fucking blah. Response from NCIC. This interstate identification index response is a result of your record request. Individual's record will be complete when all responses are received. Sources: FBI, Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, New York, End. This rap sheet was introduced in response to the following requests. The information of this rap sheet is subject to blah, 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 blah. Subject's name, Ernest Mac Show. Look at that one, 2025. Oh, don't worry, guys. It's just, you know, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal, guys. Just a warrant out for my arrest. It's not that big of a deal, right, guys? It's not that big of a deal. All right, so armed and dangerous. Well, why is that? Because he has violent tendencies. See that? He just pissed a whole bunch of people off. Oh. Okay, so report as ambulance. It's an ambulance. I don't think there's really anything here that we need to specifically go into that we haven't already seen. Facts, Legion. Whatever, does it say what 05 is, or is that just, does it say it anywhere? No, I don't see it anywhere. I don't know what 05 is, but whatever 05 is. I don't see it on there. Whatever. So that's all of his 5 counts of that, tagging property, destruction of property. So now we know why he got those counts of assault and battery. Are you doing it?
Yeah, he said go back to the warrant section.
The warrant section?
What we were just talking about.
What's triple I status? What does that mean? Did you drop a link?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if you did or if I did. I forgot. All right, hold on 1 second. All right, Viper, you're up. What up, homie?
Okay, Moody asked the thing in the chat.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Moody. I don't know much about you. I like it, but sometimes you ask questions that confuse me. This is the warrant information out of Kentucky. This is what Ricky Baker filled out. Okay, they don't know nothing about what happened in Massachusetts yet. Right. So armed and dangerous means that he was seen armed, and he's known to be dangerous. Now, I know a lot of you people take the stuff he says online, like, oh, he's a coward, he's this, he's that, he's this, that. But he was sending text messages to people with himself in pictures, holding things that as a felon he is not supposed to have. Let that sink in a moment. There's open cases that have not been filed and cannot be FOIA'd yet on threats that he's made to people's lives. And I said I would no longer be streaming Ernie, which I'm not. Instead, I'm just going to do things legally and ethically the right way. And I left it to everybody else to do their streaming and all that stuff. Because for me, it's not about content. I don't give a fuck about content.
Right.
Anybody else can take the content. But when I present information, I present it with facts, just like I did with his lack of DD-214. And again, Redstone and people deserve credit there because they were calling him out for a long time. But nobody believes anything on this platform without documentation. And even to the point where you provide documentation, it's still denied as evidence. This is straight from the courts. This is his warrant out of Kentucky. This is what he's known for. He sent threats to myself about my wife. He sent threats to many other women on this platform. And he sent pictures along with them, folks. That's not released online, and you can't FOIA it. That's why you don't know about weapons charges. You don't know any of that information because it's not FOIAble. Just like Medway is not in VineLink. So when Ernie's at Medway, you won't see him in VineLink because he's not in VineLink. But he's still there. He's still
being held. Right. He's just not. He just doesn't show up on VineLink.
And his bond has 2 clarifications. One is passing a mental health check, and the other hold is not said. It just says, I forget what it said, but it said something. That's the hold for the warrant. They've already contacted Kentucky. Kentucky has already confirmed they want him. So he's not going anywhere.
He's not getting out, folks. Like, there's no chance. Like,
I want to make sure I stress that because, like, I took what he said seriously. If you're going to threaten the lives of people that I love, I'm going to take it seriously. I don't care if people don't think he's brave enough to do anything or not. The fact that he's sending pictures with himself armed with weapons and then telling me he's going to kill my wife and make me watch, yeah, I'm going to take that pretty seriously. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm not done.
Sapphire brings up a really good point that goes right along with you. He is dangerous when he comes and video records my home at 1 a.m. and creep around our windows. Like that's weird. That's weirdo type behavior. That's dangerous.
Stage name, you don't need to pray that I follow through because I actually do follow through. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
So all of this information was already turned over to my police. That's it. Because he is dangerous. He's gone to people's houses unannounced. He's made threats. He shows up in random places. I'm not terrified.
SG's back at the beginning. That's why she's asking these questions. Okay, it makes total sense now. So she's all the way back at the beginning, and we're like an hour and a half into it. So she's like, yeah, she's just behind.
I mean, took over the shit because DGen did it the way it needed to be done, which is with proof, evidence, and without any emotion involved. And I had too much emotion involved. And I'm not gonna lie, I was too emotionally involved. Not the right person to be putting this shit out on the fucking network. It needed to be somebody that was logical. So thank you to DGen, thank you, and whether people like her or not, thank you to Redstone, thank you to Lisa, thank you to everybody who made the calls. All that shit played a role in this. But now it's our time. If you have things you need to file on Ernie, you need to take this fucking report and you need to go file your charges. Stop letting him get the fuck off and escape with his mental illness shit. He can get mental illness in prison, folks.
Yep. He can get help in prison for that. That's what a lot of people they never understand like that. He can get help in prison for that just as easily as you get anywhere else.
So I just want to make sure I put that out there. If you've had CPS at your house, if you've had threats of your jobs for your children, if threats to slit your throats, Tina, you need to file reports. Stop dicking around, file the report. This isn't a game, this is content. Do it.
And be precise and on point on your report. Don't say he threatened to do this and then talk about your grandma or some crazy shit like that. Like let's use common sense here, folks. If this is what you want to do, like yes, this is what you need to do.
Badlands has the videos, Constance has the videos, DGen has the videos, Traders has the videos. Who else? Name some more. There are other people.
I've got a couple. I mean, I've got a couple months worth, but not really a whole lot.
Thank you to everybody that helped and believed in me. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for presenting this, Ghost. I appreciate it. I know it's not exactly the easiest thing to do.